Hey everybody, I'm Angie Goff, and this is the Oh My Goff Show. For nearly 2 decades, I've covered big stories and big names, whether it was reporting from the royal wedding, the Super Bowl, or sitting down with the First Lady. There's one thing I know for sure. Behind every headline is a human story, one filled with ups, downs, laughter, and life lessons. Each episode will tap into some pretty incredible minds, people who've found true success in chasing their dream or changing the world. It's the story behind the story that I hope will inspire your own. This is the Oh My Goff Show with Angie Goff. Author, poet, educator, Newberry Medal winner, philanthropist, innovator in residence from across the pond, cool dad who hails from my hometown, Herndon, Virginia, and now executive producer of a new television series that's going to air on Disney Plus, Kwame Alexander. So what brings you back home?
We just got the pickup order for the series, the crossover based on my novel, which I wrote at Panera Bread on Eldon Street in Herndon, Virginia. It's a drama and it's a comedy. So I guess it's a dramedy. It's about the saga of this family as these twin brothers try to navigate their lives on and off the court.
I've read the book, so I know how it goes. But if you were to describe it to someone, if you were going to do the pitch, so to speak, about what this show is going to be about.
So the crossover is not a show about basketball. It's not a show about competition. It's not a show about sibling rivalry. It's not a show about two brothers. It's not a show about a Black family. It's not a show about the first crush and that inaugural heartbreak. It's not a show about any of that, Angie. It's a show about all of it. You know, what we were able to create on this set, this image of, at the end of the day, what really matters is family. In addition to Jalen Hall and Amir O'Neal, the two stars. Prepping my meal, ready for glass. Nobody's expecting Amir to pass. I see Jalen under the hoop, so I serve him up my alley. Ooh! We also have David Diggs, so what did I miss? Who's narrating the series.
Yeah, when I found out you didn't choose me to be the narrator and I found out who you chose, I was fine with that, okay? We have some photos of you filming that pilot in Louisiana over the summer. You also recruited some pretty big talent as far as executive producer, Kwame and King James. That team is stacked.
I've always been moved by him as a basketball player, but as a human being. It's really a metaphor for what we're trying to do with this show, which is never letting others define who we are, setting our goals for ourselves.
This has been a real journey for you.
Yeah, it's I started writing the book in 2008. It was published in 2014. I think the first television and film meetings I had around the book were in 2015. So you're talking about a 7-year process.
Has this all sunk in for you yet?
I try not to think about it too much. Because again, I've in addition to the TV show, I write books. So that's like my day job. I have loved living in London and writing in London and working at the American School in London.
What exactly were you doing in London? I know that you were, the innovator on campus.
I was working with the entire school, K to 12 students, faculty, administrators, really just trying to inspire people to use their words, to find their voice, to build their confidence through literature and language. And I'm gonna miss it when I move back, but I'm excited to come back to Northern Virginia. This has been the place that has nurtured my creativity. London was the place that sort of reinvigorated me. So now I'm coming back full of verve and energized and can't wait to create some more magic.
You have this new trilogy that's coming out this fall.
It's called The Door of No Return, and it comes out, book 1 comes out September 27th. Book 1 is about this young boy's coming of age in the midst of a tragedy. Book 2 is a similar story told from the vantage point of the girl he had a crush on. And book 3 is when they sort of come back together.
In this digital world that we're living in this era, are you worried at all about the state of literacy?
Am I worried? I'm worried about some of the people out here who are trying to ban books.
Oh yeah.
I'm worried about um, I'm worried about the administrators who are not making sure that the books in their schools are representative of the kids in their school. I'm not worried so much about the kids because kids are going to find their ways to those books that are meaningful and significant to them. The librarians and the teachers, I'm not so worried about because I find that these days librarians and teachers have their hands on the pulse. They know that books have the potential to transform young minds, and they're making sure that all the books are for all the kids, and they're getting books into their kids' hands that are mirrors, books where kids can see themselves, and books that are windows, books where kids can see each other. I feel like the librarians and teachers are on it. I just want these politicians, these administrators, these school board people to sort of, to wake up and realize that if we want to create beautiful, inspired, empathetic human beings, we got to make sure we provide books that are going to help them become that.
Yeah, I love that. And for those of us and those parents that struggle getting their kids to open something tangible up because they want to watch YouTube or they want to listen to an audiobook, so to speak, through the new apps like Epic and that type of thing, what would be your advice? Do you have any tips that or things that work in trying to get your kid excited about reading?
Books are like amusement parks, Angie, and sometimes you got to let kids choose the rides. So find that book that is going to really excite and thrill and engage a child, not the book you think they ought to read or you want them to read. Help them find their way to that book that they're going to want to read, that's going to rock their world. And that requires you to know your kids, teachers, to understand your kids, parents, to understand what their likes and joys and wishes and hopes are. I can't tell you how many boys who don't read or who didn't read. And a teacher said, well, what do you like? And they said basketball. And the teacher gave them the copy of the crossover and they couldn't put it down. And it was their gateway. It was their entry to an appreciation of language and literature. Find that book that's going to interest that kid. And then you will be on your way to helping your student, to helping your child want to read, not just to read, but to want to read.
So what is next after this? I mean, obviously there's more writing.
We sold a movie based on my novel Solo to Disney. There's an animated series that I've been developing. I just had a musical at the Kennedy Center. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to be able to work right beside Angie Goff on a project.
Yeah, right.
That's my dream.
Come on over. We'll put you in front of the weather wall. Forecasting today, more books. You watched or listened to the very end. Thanks so much. Don't worry, you can watch more by subscribing to the Oh My Goff Show on YouTube, Facebook Watch, Twitch, or Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your favorite shows.